I see it full time.
Has he blown the whistle?
Yeah.
Yes! Come on! Well done, Arsenal.
Yes, guys. Welcome back to. Sorry, I had to do that, man. I had to do that. I'm sorry.
Parade. Let's all have a parade.
I'm sorry. Oh dear, Martin looks like he's in a bad mood.
I'm sick of these deluded Arsenal fans.
He's fuming. He's fuming, bro.
No, I'm sorry. If Everton, I thought we were playing Everton today the way they set up. Garbage for being the best team in the land and all the world.
Yeah, okay. So let's just jump straight in, right? Let's not do any of the preamble shit, yeah? So here's the thing. Obviously, Arteta come to get a point. And by the way, big up to everyone that's joining in on Twitter. We are live on Twitter as well. So good to see people tuning in on there as well. We are live on the More LB YouTube channel. But Arteta clearly come in to take a point, right? And I think some people are like missing it. Arteta today, right? He's got a point. He does now not have to really think about City. He is now, for me, in a straight shootout. This is what he's thinking of from an Arsenal point of view. So don't think of this from a City point of view. From an Arsenal point of view, he's thinking now they're in a straight shootout with Liverpool. Arsenal have a better goal difference. All he's thinking is Liverpool are probably going to drop points in at least one game. All we have to do is better their record in the final 9 games. Now, and I get it. Obviously, it's annoying for us that they came and played that negative football because it made it difficult for us to create anything, really. We didn't create a single chance, to be honest with you, other than like set pieces and that. But like, I understand why he did it. I mean, he come here last year, Martin, he got slapped up 4-1. So, I mean, I just have to look at our own team, Martin, and go, we just didn't create enough. You know, we had Foden on the pitch for 60 minutes, KDB there, Bernardo there, Grealish came on, Doku came on. And bro, we just didn't create anything.
No, I understand that. I understand that point. I'm just going off because I've been on shows all week and get told they were coming to slap us up 3 and 4-0. You know what I mean? Because they were the best team in the land and all the world. And honestly, I've been on shows where that's been said, and I'm like, no, you're not doing that. Because I knew Arteta would do that. He's been slapped up 4 and 5 years on the bounce. He's learned. Well done. He's absolutely learned. But the thing is, I don't think we were terrible today. I really don't. I've said this to you before. I think expectations have gone through the roof now. And if City aren't winning 4-0 and creating 35 chances a game, we're in meltdown a little bit. Yeah,
but to be fair, now I agree. I don't think we were terrible today, but we didn't create anything.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with like I don't expect us to create like tens or dozens of chances against the likes of Arsenal. Like Arsenal's defensive record at the moment is very, very good. Like for everything that we saw today. Like even though they put 11 men behind the ball, we've seen plenty of teams go and put 11 men behind the ball before and get it wrong, and then we've ended up winning the game anyway. But I mean, to create literally fuck all for an entire game against the team is that is where it's kind of on City a little bit. And you can obviously look at it the other way, where it's like, well, what do you expect them to do against a well-organised 10 men behind the ball kind of team? But when you've got players of the quality that we have on the pitch, it's kind of a bit like, well, that's their job is to like get chances out of that, especially with the amount of, like you can see here with the stats, like with the amount of possession that we had. Like you've got to be looking at, one shot on target with 72% possession is shocking, no matter what way you look at it. So I get, and obviously that we're all frustrated with the way that Arsenal came and set up against us. I mean, but to think back to 2012, like even Fergie's like peak United, well, say peak United, depending on whether you think that 2012 side for United was peak or not. Like they came and like tried to get a point at the Etihad, and if it wasn't for the fact that we scored a corner, they probably would have got it, and then the title race looks completely different. But on this occasion, Arsenal have actually managed to successfully come away with a point, which is where we all end up sat here thinking, well, we're the only team that turned up to play football and they didn't. But I don't know. It's the way that we played still frustrates me, despite the fact that we did ultimately come up against the best defence in the league, who had set out from minute 1 to just put 11 men behind the ball and not let us score. So it's a bit of a mixed way of looking at it.
Yeah. Sorry, I think my sound.
What are you saying, Tom? Sorry, bud.
No, sorry. Yeah. Just on that, really, it's difficult. It's difficult when you're playing teams like Sheffield United and teams like that who pack in the box. It's even more difficult when you're playing a team of the quality of Arsenal with the players they've got, certainly the defenders they've got to create. Ake had that one from the corner, which Joe just said there about the company one against United and so on, which could have been that moment. But it's very, very, very difficult. I see people saying we've got to play faster, we've got to play quicker. Where can you play quicker? If Arsenal are shaped around their box, everybody back, it's very, very difficult. If you go fast, you're likely to lose the ball. If you go slow, waiting for someone to switch off, that appears to be the way. But you're playing a top team. The way they played wasn't top team, but they are a top team who, as Joe said, defend very, very, very well. It's difficult. City aren't in their free-flowing attack mode either, and they haven't been really for pretty much all the season. So that obviously factors in as well.
Yeah, I literally don't have a problem with how Arsenal set up, man. I know City fans are like on Twitter going sick at it, saying, "Oh, this is embarrassing from a title challengers." I literally don't have a problem with it, man. We slap them up usually all the time. They come here, you know what I mean? They get slapped up last year. They come here, got slapped up. They come here to do a job today, to get a point and get out of there and maybe try and nick one, but they didn't. They got the point, and now they're for me are in a straight shootout. And Tone's right, Joe's right on the goal difference. The goal difference is absolutely huge, and this is why I always talk about goal difference from like basically the start of the Premier League campaign, because when you get to this point of the season, for me, very difficult to get the goal difference right because there's not enough games. Do you know what I mean? Like Liverpool play Sheffield United next week at home. You know what I mean? I'm looking through our fixtures. People in my group chat are saying, yeah, but City, non-City fans are saying, yeah, but City will still slap up teams. I'm like, who? Yeah. The only team that we could potentially slap up really for the goal difference is Luton. But they've not even really been like conceding a shed load of goals, to be honest with you. So it's certainly a tricky situation. Martin, let me come back to you, man. We got a point. That obviously leaves us, 3 points behind Liverpool, 4 if you include in goal difference. Some City fans are writing off the title now, saying it's done, it's over. What's your view on title now, bro?
No, it's not over. No, I'm not. I really don't believe it's over. Liverpool still have a couple of tricky fixtures. Arsenal, tricky fixtures. I don't believe it's over at all. And I'm seeing the doom and the gloom. I've seen it all. But and people can call me happy clappy, whatever they want to do. It's fine. I've always said this. This team has earned my backing to believe in them. We've come back. Yeah, are we playing the greatest free-flowing football right now? No, but I remember a season where Liverpool were playing free-flowing, sexy football. Didn't win the league. The league title's not given out to the team that plays the sexiest football. That's not in the rule book. Listen, I think any team can go on a 9-game win. It's us.
I think for me, it's like if we were playing shit football but still winning games, I'd be fully behind that. But I don't care whether we're playing good football or not. But we seem to be incapable of beating any of the big 6 teams, and we've got away. Yeah, fair enough. But we've got a fixture coming up against away at Spurs, which, as we all know, is like apart from the FA Cup this season when they were missing Son, who pretty much scores against us every time he plays against us. Like that's for me, that's guaranteed drop points. And so if you're looking at the other teams above us, well, that's just statistically true based on the previous times we've played at the Spurs ground.
Statistically, it is true.
Yeah,
statistically, 3 months ago, we battered them at their place and played them off the park, son and no son.
And won 1-0. Like, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. Like
it's a different Tottenham.
And they still got a draw us, and they got a draw against us at our place not long ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're a team that still, even with this new squad, even with Postecoglou in charge, they are capable of making us drop points, and we saw that earlier this season. And given how that we played against the likes of Chelsea, who look an absolute basket case against everybody but us this season, like some teams just have that over us, and I'm fully bracing myself. I'm not going into Spurs expecting us to win, like, because the past proves that that's probably not going to happen. But even if we do go and win that, we're now looking at Liverpool having to drop having to drop points in multiple games, which I think they've got the easiest running out of the lot of us, but we're expecting them to drop points in multiple games and or also drop a lot of goal difference while we make a lot up, whilst we're not looking at our free flowing scoring best. Like, I don't think if we were playing the way that we were in like the treble running last season, if we were playing that kind of way now, I would absolutely back us to get to.
The problem.
Okay, then.
We're never going to
if we were playing like 2020-21 football then, where we did win the league but didn't win the treble, if we were playing that kind of football, I would still back us to do it. But we're not playing the football that is of the level of any of our title wins that we've had so far. Like that's just I'm not expecting Centurion level, I'm not expecting treble level, but I'm not looking at the football we're playing at the moment and have been pretty much since the start of the season, and I'm not seeing anything that looks even comparable to any of our previous title wins.
Yeah, no, I'm with you in. I mean, Arsenal and Liverpool have been better. They played better than us in the Premier League to this point. I can't argue that. And if we play like we have been, even though we haven't lost since I think early December, and people always throw that out, I'm just talking performances. If we perform like we have done in the bigger games for the rest of the season, we won't win the league, and I don't think anyone can argue that because we're not playing well enough. I think my belief is we know that City can go up the gears at the right time, they can improve, and City have a higher ceiling to go to between now and the end. I think Arsenal have maybe peaked, Liverpool pretty much peaked, and if they keep that up, so be it. And if they're the best team, they win it, fine. But I still believe that City will improve. Just it's partly looking at past and how we finish seasons and so on, because we've been there and done it. The pressure mounts, and people look at Liverpool's fixture list, said, "Oh yeah, that's quite easy," but it's not that easy. There are some tricky games in there, and you're playing teams. I think Liverpool played them, to be fair, but teams like Nottingham Forest, we've got away. Now people look at that game and go, right, that's 3 points. That one's 3. Forest away won't be easy. They're third from bottom, fighting for their lives, and teams like that. So it's very, very difficult to say anyone's got easier fixtures, I think.
Got Villa away.
Yeah, well, can I just come in on that point, though, Tom? Because I agree with you. That's what I've been saying for ages. I've been saying at some point this team will click into gear. But the problem is I've been saying that for like quite a while. I said it today. I thought we'd click into gear today. I thought we'd click into gear at Anfield, and we're not. And now we've got Villa. Villa for me now is like literally a must-win game. Like if you like, because for me personally, can we win the league? Yes. Do I think we will win the league? I don't think we'll win the league now. Just personally, just my own opinion. Not being negative, just my own opinion. I don't think we'll win the league from this position. I think it's too difficult. But if we don't beat Villa, then it is chalks, mate. You know what I mean? Because Liverpool, they play Sheffield United at the weekend, so that's going to be guaranteed 3 points. So if you lose against Villa or drop points to Villa, then it is over. But this team. What upsets me, and it more upsets me than makes me angry. It upsets me because this team, in my opinion, is leaving so much in the tank. Like, we all know this team can be so much better than it's performing. We know they can be a lot better than it, but they're just not doing it for whatever reason that is. Now, I don't know what the reason is. I don't know whether it's Pep with his tactics. I don't know whether it's Pep with his managerial instructions. I don't know if the players are just not turning up, whether they've got the treble hangover, they're not hungry for it. Maybe it's simply they're not good enough. Maybe the quality's gone. You lost Mahrez, you lost Gundogan, you don't have the quality. I don't know. But I feel like all season we've played like 70% of our max ability. And all season I've been saying, as soon as we're going to click into gear at some point and we'll get to that 100% and then we'll start winning and winning. And we've just not. And we've not won a single game against a top 5. We've got Villa coming up on Wednesday. We're going to be knackered for that. Yeah, then we've got a Palace at the weekend. And we've also got Spurs away. So I just feel that, like, are we going to click into gear? You know? Are we going to click into gear? And on top of that, every single game, we just get unlucky with injuries.
Yeah.
Just when you think we finally got our first team back and our full team that we can actually put out there. I'm not using that as an excuse for today, by the way. Just clarification. I'm just saying, like, generally speaking. As soon as you think we've got our first team back and we can go on a bit of a run, even 3, 4, 5, 6 games, it's just not there. And then someone else gets injured. You know, John Stones out injured, Kevin De Bruyne out injured, now Ake's out, and it's just like, when will it end? You know what I mean? When will it end?
It's been that way for most. It's been that way for most of this, which kind of explains a lot of the season as a whole. It doesn't explain today, obviously. Like as you said, like it's not an excuse for today. That's just today just happens. But I think the season as a whole, like you've lost Mahrez and Gundogan. Mahrez obviously criminally underrated, and Gundogan obviously bringing a lot of the sort of leadership in the dressing room, as we're probably going to see on tomorrow when this Tuesday when this treble documentary drops, as we have seen in previous seasons. Like Gundogan brings a lot of that kind of leadership with him. You've lost those two straight off the bat, replaced them with two players who, let's be frank, are inferior to both of them in the way that they play. Like Kovacic is great, but he's no Gundogan. And I mean, fucking Jeremy Doku, man, for Mahrez. Like that is just like possibly one of the biggest downgrades we've had for an outgoing and incoming player in a long time. And I think that when you've got those two going out, and then you have De Bruyne basically written off for the first 6 months of the season from the get-go. You have Haaland, who gets himself out for 2 months or so with injury as well over the winter. You get obviously Grealish in and out of the side throughout the whole season. John Stones in and out of the side throughout the whole season. You're looking at like 6 or 7 like regular first teamers from last season's like most important, crucial time of the season, who are either not available at all for the first 6 months, or just not available because they've left the club, or in and out of the side so much that you just can't rely on them. And it's just like that's obviously that happens. I mean, look at Newcastle. Like we're not the only club that's like suffering with people like being in and out of the club with injuries, but it does go some way to explain why the levels on a whole this season. And obviously, like we all know, last season was so mad. We're not expecting that every year now, because last season was just a one-off. But it explains why the levels have dropped so far below that. Like they've dropped below our normal title winning standards, like not just treble winning, but like but for title winning standards, because so many players have gone. It's not like if we'd have just lost Gundogan and Mahrez, but the rest of the squad was fully fit for the rest of the season, you can maybe make up for that loss. You can, in fact, you probably can. Like, let's be honest, you probably can make up for that loss, but that's compounded by like the number, like De Bruyne being out for a full for the first 5 or 6 months, and then the rest of them being in and out. It's just it is what it is, and it's kind of left us in a position now where the point of the season where a fully fit squad would be able to sort of would be clicking into gear around now. Well, they've not been able to click into gear because of the first, for the first 6 months of the season, De Bruyne was missing, and he's like so pivotal to everything that we do. It's like, I don't know, we've left it too late for us to, as you said, LB, you were saying we've got to click into gear, and we've been saying it for months. It's too late now. Like, even if we click into gear now, we can win every single game between now and the end of the season and conceivably still finish third. Like that's where we are, and that's ultimately that's on us for not putting away some of these even. I mean, there's been some teams against lower table sides that we've not won, but I mean, there's some of the games against the big six that we've not won. Like we've thrown away leads and last minutes of games on multiple occasions, and that's because there's just something off with the team at the moment. And if you win 1 or 2 more of them, we're top now, and that's just kind of how seasons like this just happen.
The Palace one won it. I know it's not top 6, like you say, but the Palace one was the one that's really screwed us a little bit. Lads, let me get your views on Kevin De Bruyne, guys, because I've seen quite a lot of debate with City fans online, social media, on Twitter, in my comment section about Kevin De Bruyne. Some people are saying with a heavy heart type thing that they reckon it could be time for him to leave in the summer. They reckon he's looking a bit too leggy. All the injuries have caught up to him. Some people are saying no, he's just come back from another injury. He just needs even more time. Martin, let me come to you on this one. You was at the game today. What did you make of Kev today, man? And what's your just thoughts on him, like going forward? I assume that you're not in the sell Kevin De Bruyne camp, but correct me if I'm wrong on that.
I mean, I think some fans are in. I'm sorry, some fans this year have gone to spoiled brats. Sorry, the panic buttons come out and everyone's got into madness. I don't, and that's not a dig at anyone in here, but people on Twitter sell kidding. I don't get it. I mean, was he great today? He was okay. I still think he's carrying probably a little niggle somewhere, but I don't think he was,
Still created the best chance of the game for City with the corner for Ake.
I don't think he was. Yeah.
This is what I said. Sorry, quickly, Martin. This is just quickly. This is what I said in my player ratings. I said people can slag off Kevin De Bruyne, and I get that he wasn't great. But if Ake scores that header, which he actually 100% should do, he's 2 yards out and he completely misses it and it hits his hand. If he heads that in, we win 1-0. He gets the only assist. Everyone's like, oh my God, Kevin De Bruyne. But we don't finish the dinner. We don't finish the chance. And now everyone's like, he's fucking shit, sell him. And it's just like...
No, that's what I mean. It's gone from A to Z this season. It's gone from A to Z. We concede a goal, some fans melt down. I mean, we're in a semi-final in FA Cup, undefeated in the Champions League, scoring 3 goals in every game. Landed ourselves in such a quarter-final against Real Madrid. And we're only 3 points behind in the league. But we're a bag of crap. I keep saying this because someone explain all this to me. Because does that mean, because if Liverpool and Arsenal are so damn good and we're so damn crap, how are we only 3 points behind?
Yeah.
I think the problem is, Martin, in terms of expectation, and I can't think of the word, the treble in that sense was the worst thing that ever happened. Because
I said this, worst thing it did was win the treble.
Yeah. And obviously, I'm not saying I didn't want it to happen and wouldn't go back and relive it, all right? Sorry, I'm laughing. But it's you know, of course we wanted to and delighted we did. But it was always, it just sets the bar at ridiculous levels and standards. And like Martin just reeled off there where we're in each competition, it's really not all that bad.
By the way.
Yeah, and that.
Games unbeaten, but I'm happy clapper.
Yeah, and absolutely. Yeah, and yeah, I get the same. But it's just the level of expectation now. When we were winning games earlier in the season, there was a couple where I think we won 2-1, 3-1. The same people there were saying, "Oh, bloody conceded." Never a word on the fact we won and got 3 bloody points. And that is the level now. If we win and don't keep a clean sheet, that's not that good anymore. You've got to win 3 or 4-0. You shouldn't be conceding any goals. You should be winning 15 on the bounce like the other years. It's just expectation. I'm not saying people are wrong for having that level and expecting that. That's fine. That's their view, their opinion. But you've got to, I think, try and be a little more level-headed. And also,
that's all I mean, just level-headed with it. I'm not, listen, everyone is entitled to an opinion, 1,000%. I just think, I have mates of mine who we've conceded a shot. Right? Calm down. We've conceded a shot and they're going to meltdown. So I've got a mate who's moaned about we're really crap defensively. Today I thought we were really good defensively. Yeah. So now it's turned around and moan because we haven't. I'm like, you just want to moan for moan now?
But Martin, to be fair, just to be fair, that is the story of our season. Like all season, we have had obviously games where we've been poor going forward, but our defense has been the problem all season.
We conceded the first shot on goal so many times. It's like it is a problem. Like it's a valid thing to complain about. And I get on the kind of expectations this season. I really don't think that's because of the treble. Are you telling me that any City fan is going into any season with this squad, like whether we won the treble or not, and not expecting us to win the league? Like, I'm sorry, but like in the current state of things, we absolutely should, as fans, not expect it. And but I understand why that's like the level of expectation that these players. You said it at the beginning, Martin, that like these players have earned like your trust and faith that we'll get there to the top at the end. Well, likewise, they've also earned the expectation from fans that they should be winning leagues because they've done it 3 times in a row. And
but it's never been a fourth, Joe.
Fourth. Absolutely not. But when we're doing this, when we just come off the back of a treble, while Liverpool have had an entire midfield rebuild in the summer and should not be where they are at the moment, and actually, I funnily enough, I agree with you both that like us being third and being crap. I actually think Liverpool have been crap for most of the season, but the top of the league, and that's just like what I mean. Like I've watched so many games and thought, how have Liverpool not conceded it? But they've rode the luck in the top of the league. Arsenal have looked mint for the last 2 months, putting 5 and 6 past teams in middle to bottom half of the table that they absolutely should be doing it. But we're not doing that. And that's where
Jordan couldn't do it against us then. So you could flip that the other way.
Because we're top of the league. We're in the top 3. Of course they can't do it against us.
Arsenal were great today.
No, I don't think Arsenal even tried to score a goal against us today. That's the difference. Like if they'd have turned up and actually like done what Liverpool did at Anfield, for example, pressed us and tried to score. Who knows? Maybe we score, maybe they score. But they literally.
I get. Fans want to win the league. I fully understand that. Where my issues go off is when you don't win the league, it becomes sell off the squad, get rid of this, get rid of that. This is not, and it's like it is a bit A to Z, Joe. It really is.
And maybe I'm just not.
It is A to Z.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And look, trust me, anywhere that you go, whether it's on Twitter or in the stadium or whatever, you're gonna hear some people who've got fucking stupid opinions, and that's just how it is. But like at the end, like your average, normal, sensible City fan can look at this season, and if we don't win the league, say, given the state of the teams that we've come up against, maybe not. Maybe if Arsenal win the league, you maybe can't really begrudge it then, because obviously they came second last year, very close to us, and if they go on and sort of take that next step to win it this year, then fair enough. But Liverpool winning the league from the position that they were in last year and the sort of what they've had to do with their midfield, we should be looking at that and thinking, how the fuck have we let them win the league? Like, and that is absolutely valid. But obviously, if you're a City fan who's looked at this, whose logical conclusion from that is sell half the squad, then you are obviously an idiot and like you don't know what you're talking about. But at the same time, I do think there are valid concerns to be had about the way that we've replaced outgoings in the squad, who we've brought in, what the plan was in the summer with the transfers. Because I've got no idea. Obviously, we decided very early on that Calvin Phillips was just like a no-go, but we didn't sign anybody to replace him. And we didn't even really make that much of a push to get him out like we ended up doing in January. We brought in Matheus Nunes, who Pep's not started in a significant game all season. So what's the point? We signed Doku for 50 mil, who hasn't looked any better than the day that he walked into the club. Like, this is all we can all still accept at the end of the day, that we might not win the league this year. And I'm perfectly fine with that. It's annoying that we don't get 4 in a row because I'd like to do it, but it's by no means that or bust for me. However, I don't necessarily think that we can just accept the fact that this season has been well below standards, even though we are where we are in these competitions. But I think that we can still look at it and go, we can all question how we are where we are in the league at the moment, and how we haven't been able to get across the line in so many games where we've been in the lead and we've thrown leads away, and that's why we are not top of the league at the moment. And I think that it's absolutely fair. Obviously, if you're saying this year's shit and everyone needs to get sold, then obviously you ignore those people. But if you're someone who's just looking at this season and just saying, if we don't win the league, realistically, we as a club should be thinking of it as a failure, and I kind of do now, because this is the level of squad that we've got. Then I don't think that's that unreasonable, really.
No, is it Al?
Yeah. Sorry, LB.
No, that was literally just ad lib. Go on, Tom. What are you saying?
I think Martin's maybe commenting on those that go way too far and start. If Haaland has a bad game, they want insult today. So it's the expectation for City, in my view, as a fan, is we should be competing for that Premier League. I never going. We should win it. End of story. Compete, and we are. We've been below, Joe. Completely. And this isn't me versus you, Joe, or me versus Martin, or anything like that. I'm just talking. We should be competing for that league. And yes, we've been, in my view, 6 out of 10 at best in the Premier League this season. But we are still competing. We're also competing in 2 other trophies, despite the low levels. And I get what you're saying about the signings. None of them have really... Well, Guardiola looked brilliant today, by the way. Again, his 2 best games on the bounce after Newcastle. He was bloody excellent, Guardiola. And in my view, I love Ake, but he should be starting. So I think he will turn good. Kovacic is a good player. Doku, mixed bag, and Nunes, mixed bag at best. But don't forget that it does take time under Pep, certainly for midfielders when they come in as well. We've seen... Look, if it was based on one season, Rodri wouldn't be playing for us now. He'd have gone. Bernardo probably would have gone. There were people saying, what on earth is this guy about in his first season? There's another one I've forgotten. The hope is that they get Grealish, and there's others. I'm sure there's others in that midfield that have, and the defence as well. We've got to have patience with them. And if the level has dropped partly because of those recruitment, I'm not ready to call it a bad recruitment or poor recruitment, because I don't think it's fair to judge them on that. I just think I'm completely with you, Joe. We are below our level. If anybody says City are playing to their potential, they're clearly watching something I'm not. I still think there's, and I know what LB's saying, and Joe as well, and so on, about, I've been saying for months we're going to reach that level. And you're absolutely right. And we are running out of games. So we've got 9 left. 9, isn't it? And we're running out of games. We can't keep saying it. It's just more in hope. It's pure hope that we put 4 past Villa, win 4-0, and go, here you go. Now we're back. Now we go to Palace, win 2 or 3. And everyone's buzzing again Monday, going, sod this, lads, we're winning the title. Yeah, that's the hope.
It is a hope. Listen, I want to come to some of these super chats, man. Big up to everyone that sent one in. Please make sure you drop a like if you tuned in on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, big up, man. It's the first time we've streamed on Twitter. Donna coming in with the weird super chats as always. Says, Mr. LB, I will love you till the sun dies. LB, tell me your favourite song. I will sing it. Cheers. MMC says, why Hook Foden could have scored one of the Doku chances. MMC, we'll speak about that in a second, MMC. LB says Haaland really needs to sort his feet out and head. We'll speak about that as well in a second as well. I've seen Roy Keane having a dig at him. 55 says everyone has injuries. It ain't an excuse. We ain't good enough. Simple as that. Need a massive clear out in the summer. KDB is the last issue we have, says 55. And CB says we rely too much on KDB. Someone else has to create. Okay, so someone else has to create. Step up Phil Foden. Oh, no, wait, he can't because he got subbed off. Martin, what was the reaction inside the stadium to that at the time? Because I was a little bit like, I wasn't like angry. I was just like, whoa, like, what's going on here? Like, I was trying to understand what was going on. What was the reaction to it in the stadium? And like, what was your reaction?
Some were shocked. Some were shocked. He wasn't in the game at the time. That was the problem.
Mm-hmm.
He was totally isolated out of that game. Arsenal did a very good job on just getting him out of the game, and they did. So it's one of them in it because you sub KDB or you sub Foden, and either one of them can do a little bit of magic to break the deadlock. It's like the Haaland card. Because I'll be honest with you, I was thinking Haaland needs to go off here with 20 minutes to go. Try Alvarez. Little bit of chaos, but put Alvarez in his normal position. But so yeah, I don't think you said it before. I'm not sure who else was he going to take off at the time. Because Bernardo stepped up today. I had to go at him. I thought he was decent today. Guardiola, best game he's played for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There wasn't, and then you take the chance with Kovacic and Rodri. So it was either KDB or Foden had to go or you don't make the sub.
Well, hang on a minute. Why couldn't he put Foden on the right wing? He put Doku on the right wing. Why couldn't? But why did he put Doku on? He could have just put Foden on the right.
Well, he put
that was my solution.
I thought Foden was tired. Sorry.
Yeah. No, sorry. I think you're right to a degree. But I think if you're talking that the subs have to be made, then yeah, Martin's absolutely spot on. That like obviously one of Kev or Phil has to go really. But as LB says, like the solution is just don't take either of them off. Like leave Doku on the bench. Like it's easy to say it's in hindsight, where I think that he did a lot of sort of chaotic things, but ultimately didn't really lead to anything. And you just think if Foden gets into those more sort of, because it got a bit more. Arsenal started to actually like turn the screw a little bit as it got into that last 10 minutes or so. Like they still weren't exactly like peppering us or anything like that, but they stepped like 10, 15 yards further up the pitch, and that's a position where you'd like to see maybe Foden getting a run the other way. But obviously, you understand why Doku with his pace is the one who is brought on to do that the other way. But yeah, I just don't know. I don't know why we didn't sort of why he didn't make a change of any description that sort of let Phil go like properly central. I mean, I know that he played a bit more inside on that left wing with Guardiola like overlapping, but I think we've seen Foden's best performances this season have come through the middle, and it seems like ever since Kev has returned, we're never going to see Foden central again. Like we have to wait for Kev to get injured again to see Foden play through the middle. Like that's what we're going to have. That's just the way it is now. He's going to be shunted out on either wing, which is a shame because like all of his best performances and all of his his goals and assist numbers have come through playing through the centre, which is a bit of a real disappointment. But yeah, I'm kind of with you guys in that. Despite having said all that, I wasn't really like that fussed about him coming off today. It just means that when you get into that last sort of 20, 25 minutes of the game where you're hoping for a moment of magic to basically do it. Because when you're playing against 10 men behind the ball, that's literally what you're relying on. You're relying on someone to hit like a 35-yard screamer or do some crazy thing like little intricate move inside the box that like takes out 3 defenders. Like Foden is very much a player who can do that. But at the same time, like he didn't really look like he was going to create that today. So it's like,
It wasn't
at
an
what point?
LB. There was no uproar when he went off.
Okay.
Put it that way.
Oh, okay.
I just don't know, man. I just think
the biggest shame was Grealish coming on. Grealish got a standing ovation.
Well,
when he got
you know what? I don't
think.
think Grealish didn't do much when he was on, but I just felt we looked better when he was on the pitch yet again, in my opinion. And I know people will be in the comments now saying he didn't fucking do anything. What you talking about?
Just slowed it down. There was. Listen, I back Grealish 1000%. There was times in the box where he could have got a ball in, and he just stopped, put his foot on the ball, and delayed 5 seconds.
That's what he always does, isn't it?
No, I know, but at that time, because it was very weird, because you've got Doku on one side, the balls are going across, Doku's flashing, coming to get in. Grealish is holding it up on the other side, but Doku's trying to drive forward to put the ball in. You have the complete opposite on either wing, what was going on. Grealish is holding up, KDB coming round the back, then you have Bernardo coming round the back, and Doku was just basically on his own trying to go zung and go through everybody. So that was totally unbalanced to do that for me. It was just totally unbalanced.
I think you're right though. Like it's like you said. I thought it a couple of times at the end of the game. Like he'd get to that sort of about halfway. Like he was on the side of the penalty area, about halfway between where the penalty area begins and the byline is. And he had 2 defenders right in front of him. I just thought, if you just do like a drop of the shoulder and a bit of burst of pace now, you're at the byline with just like the ability to pass it in. I actually thought we could have got a
penalty maybe, the way some of them were diving in a little bit towards the end. Yeah. That's what I thought Grealish was going to do. You know, that little reverse ball round the corner, someone goes in behind, we were going to get a penalty.
Yeah, and he got really good at that last season.
Back, and I went, and now I'm all for control, but my mate said to me, do control, but do it with pace. There's a difference between slow control and fast-paced control. You can still do control, but a little bit more with a tempo. And I don't think we've just got to find this balance between slow control and tempoed control.
Yeah,
and we're not doing it at the moment.
Yeah, tempo's very, very difficult, though, against teams that have everybody back. I know I said this earlier. It's very, 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 very difficult to switch. You know, the answer is, oh, well, move it faster. But where? I know I said it earlier, but very, very difficult.
That for me, though, is where you need your Fodens and your Kevin De Bruynes to step up. And unfortunately, you know what I mean, that central area of the pitch was very, very congested. And, you know, they didn't have the space to operate properly. And then when we went to the wide areas, you know, Gvardiol's on the wing. You know, it's amazing, Gvardiol. You know, Gvardiol's put in that type of performance so many times this season. Yeah, I'm hearing on Twitter. I'm hearing on Twitter, Joe, that he's a flop, and it's just it's bizarre. Literally, people have gone like, "Oh my God, Gvardiol, best game in his City shirt ever." You know, he's done that like 10 or 15 times this season, where he just stands up the pitch, holds the ball, plays it to someone. Like, he does it all the time. Yeah, some people just don't see it, man, for some reason. However, the problem is when you play him there, is he can't cross the ball. He's a centre back. Do you know what I mean? So you don't really get too much there. Obviously, you force Foden into the middle, which I understand why we tried to do. But I actually think at times today we would have been better off if Foden just weren't in the middle and out on the left wing, because there was just
the byline.
Yeah, because if you remember the game,
Guardiola was man of the match for us.
Yeah, I went Rodri, but yeah, for sure, Guardiola was definitely a shout. But if you remember the game at Emirates, that was super narrow, no space for anyone to operate, lost. Today was super narrow, drew. The game at Wolves, super narrow, lost. Like, we've got to, and again, in all those systems, we played the same sort of way, where we just pack everyone into the middle, and it's not worked. Like, so I feel that, like, at times, I would like us to, if the middle gets too busy, to sort of revert back to more width. Because if you think about it, last year, that's kind of how we won the treble. We had so much width, you know what I mean, in Grealish, and then most of the time Bernardo Silva on the other way. A lot of the time this season, we've gone so narrow.
Yeah, the biggest problem is Pep changes his damn system every year. Or tweaks it. Yeah. We never played the same. Because all we did last year, remember, we all went in and went, oh, we love this box 4. It's nice and narrow, 4 centre-backs. But we were all then going, well, this player will go here. And we were doing it on that system. Pep went, no. I'm going to go on full. Because we joked, I said it to you, LB. We ditched Cancelo and then go and play the perfect system for a Cancelo with the overlapping fullbacks. And you sit there and go, okay. Because this is why I've not had a go. I know people have talked about Walker, but this is why I'm slightly defending him, is because I don't think it's all been Walker's fault.
No, I agree with
Pep's decided to go with Guardiola and Walker as flying up wing backs. And that is because everyone comes to us, plays a low block 10, and it's a way of trying to get in behind.
Yeah, but has he not had to do that because John Stones has hardly been able to kick a ball this year? If John Stones is in the team, do you not think that he doesn't do that? Because John Stones would then push into midfield. He's done that system because John Stones can't stay fit. And obviously, and we all moan about it so then he goes, all right then, people don't want to see Guardiola and Walker flying down the wings. I've got no John Stones. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll play Ake in there. And then everyone moans at him playing Ake in there. So he almost can't win. You know what I mean? He's got nothing that he can do really. Like 1 minute he's playing the wing backs there. We don't like that, which is understandable because we don't have wing backs who can really put good crosses in. And then he plays Akanji in the middle because people are like, we need to invert into the middle. Maybe actually the answer, and I'm interested to hear what you guys are saying, that maybe the answer should have been that we should have played Rico Lewis more. I mean, he's hardly played football for us this season.
He looked so good when he came on.
Bro, when he was coming on, Joe, I was like, damn, this is going to be bad, man. Not because I don't rate him, because he's not kicked a ball hardly this year. He's being literally thrown in to the biggest game of the season, having hardly kicked a ball, and he didn't put a foot wrong. He was great.
No, I actually think that the reason why we looked so much better today is because, like, defensively anyway, is because even though we had Guardiola, who was sort of that bombing up and down the left-hand side, we had three centre-backs who were just quite content to sit deep. Like, do you know how when Stones moves into midfield, like the three centre-backs just cover? They did the same thing, but with Guardiola moving up the left instead. And I think doing that, when you do that, where you've got Guardiola and Walker, you've got two centre backs behind you, so no wonder we're getting counted on so much, and no wonder we're giving away like so many. Like we're widening the play, but it's so easy for a team to just counter attack us because our two wing backs are on the edge of their penalty area. So like no wonder like teams are getting in behind us. And I actually think it works a lot better when you only commit to one of the full backs doing that. Like obviously we've seen Walker be like the only one doing that while Guardiola's been injured. But I think Guardiola's much more suited to it than Walker. Basically, neither of them have got a brilliant cross on them. But if I had to see Walker hit a cross into Rose Ed one more time, like I'm gonna scream. I'll drive him. I'll drive him to Munich myself this summer. The guy needs to go.
But that needs to be on Pep then, Joe. You need to call.
No, it is. It is. Yeah, it absolutely is. But if as long as he's playing, Walker is still playing badly. Like it's not his fault he's playing.
We've got this thing where we will not have a go at Pep Guardiola. He's immune to criticism.
Oh, I will. I think he's absolute. Yeah, it's an absolute joke.
I think Walker's been scapegoated out to dry a little bit this season.
50-50.
His levels definitely dropped. Like no matter what. I think he's made so many more defensive brain farts this summer this season than he has in like the previous 2 or 3 combined. Like and that's fine because let's be honest, Walker's got a lot of shit going on in his life right now. Like there's reasons why this could be the case, but I think that given that we tried so hard to keep him in the summer, the fact that he's played like every single minute of someone in the chat just called me a knobhead. That's not very nice. I think the fact that he's played like basically.
I'm getting happy clappy and I need to piss off.
I think it's the fact that he's played like basically every single game this season. When we're just talking here about how Rico Lewis has barely kicked the ball in 2024, it's mad. Like I don't know how he's gone from last season being like we almost like the Pep almost decided that the 4 centre-back system was perfect. And then we've gone from that to Walker being like undroppable as long as he's fit. And that is just like such a and again, this is where it is on Pep. Like that is just such a mad change from one thing to another. And I think when you have him and Guardiola both bombing up the sides, like I was saying at the start of it, it's like that leaves you more defensively exposed because you've got 2 players back.
If you look at opponents this year, they play a lot more narrower against us.
Yeah, but if, like as LB says, if we're playing narrow to counter that, then what are we doing apart from just playing ping pong in the middle of the pitch? Like, you know what I mean? Like we're just like.
Listen, you go back to that Tottenham game, 3 each. Go back to the Chelsea game, 4 each. Go back to the Liverpool game at the Etihad. Pep completely threw the rule book out the window, and we went attack versus defence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Rodri just became so isolated in the middle because everyone wanted attacking, sexy football, and here we go. And it was, I don't know what we were trying to do at that point, but you had Bernardo was banned from coming over the halfway line for some weird reason. You had Alvarez, who was never coming back, and it just became a group of five and a group of five with a group of four with Rodri in the middle on his own. And I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
some
when
of it this year has been very weird, tactical wise. I think Pep sometimes tried to out tactic himself.
I think he gets bored. I think he just gets bored at times and just thinks, sod this, we've won so bloody much. But I think, I'll be honest, when Walker was out, obviously I don't want anyone injured, but I wasn't that bothered. Stones I was. Walker, I was like, he's missing. I'll be honest, and I think we did a 11 LB. I'd have a Kanji in there anyway. That's just my view. I'd have a Kanji starting at right. Certainly when Guardiola is on the left, I would have a Kanji at right back all day long. I like a Kanji centre, left and middle. No, centre, left and middle. Centre, left and right. His two best performances this season have come fullback, right and left. I'm going to Kanji, and I wouldn't have Walker in my... if I was going into a game tomorrow, you have to win, everyone's fit. I'm starting a Kanji right back, not Walker. Because I think Walker's been poor this season. Well,
hopefully we'll see. We've talked about Rico Lewis. I mean, hopefully we'll at least see him play against Villa. I'd like to see it, because obviously if Ake's presumed that injury doesn't look good, like that's a calf injury that's just come out of nothing, like no contact or anything. So he's not playing Villa no matter what. So that means that we're going to be left in a situation, unless Walker is actually fit to play. Stones obviously isn't. He'd have come on as a sub if he was even remotely close to being fit. So I doubt he's going to start either. I mean, Villa is the game where you've got to just start Rico Lewis, and I think that honestly, given again last season how much he played of that running after the World Cup, obviously Pep trusts him, but for some reason Kyle Walker has just been undroppable for Pep this season, and honestly, you never want to say someone getting injured is a good thing, but at least it might help Rico Lewis get some football, because it's the only way he's going to get it this season. And I think that him sort of doing that move into midfield gives us something that we've missed with John Stones being out of the side. I don't think Akanji's anywhere near as good at it as Rico Lewis is. So having someone who can step into midfield who's genuinely a very good footballer on the ball. Having him who can do that, plus also being naturally a right back for pretty much his entire youth career, I'd like to see him just get a run of games full stop. Even when Walker comes back from injury, he shouldn't just be an immediate thrown into the starting 11 no matter what. But let's be honest, if he's fit for Real Madrid, despite everything we've just said, every single one of us here wants Walker to start that game. I'm not having anyone else start but Walker, because he's a specialist at those kind of pacey, tricky winger duels, and that's what we all want him for. But
I'm with Haaland. I've just said it, ULB. I'm with Haaland. What he's put out tonight, I'm 100% with him. Done it before, we can do it again.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I'm with Haaland. Call me Loopy, whatever you want. I don't care. I'm having it.
I think most still think, yeah, exactly. Yeah, LB's showing it there. I don't think anyone will completely write us off. I mean, literally anybody says we cannot win the league, end of story, 0% it's not right. But yeah, of course we can do it again. We know this team are capable. They've got to be better, and I think that's what people are saying, is we have been and we need to be. But just on Rico Lewis, can I just quickly say that?
Yeah, sure.
I absolutely agree. Rico's good. He played very well today. I personally wouldn't play him because I just don't think it's the time. I think playing Rico is a bit of a risk. And I know you're going to throw at me, well, Walker's been poor and so on, and that's fine. But I just don't think now, with 9 games left, is Rico.
Who would you play then? Who would you play? Because if Ake is out, so you're going to have to play Kanji and Diaz in the middle, Guardiola left back. Who would you play right back then?
Hang on, so we've got Guardiola left, Diaz, Kanji,
Nunes.
That is every defender except Rico Lewis. We have no one else.
I think it's because John Stones is back, isn't he? He's meant to be back for Villa or Palace. So
I don't think he'll play Villa. I think if he was fit enough for Villa, he would have come on today as a sub, in my opinion. Could be wrong, but I don't think he'll play Villa. I think he'll be ready for Palace.
We've had Bernardo right back before. Hey, look, I don't want to take it away from Rico. He's a good player. I would have a Kanji right if Stones is playing. And
I only said Rodri is centre back. He went Nunes were right back. We were coming up with some real old
Haaland at right back.
Can I ask you a quick question though, Tom? Because I've got to pull you up on something there. Just a bit of a challenge, right? You said now's not the time to throw Rico in. I actually think that now is the perfect time to throw him in. Because for me, like the Premier League season is like it's almost over in terms of the league title. Like, if you lose or drop points to Villa, it is over. Don't no one tell me we can still do it if we don't beat Villa. It's done, lads. Yeah, we're just to focus on the Champions League and an FA Cup. We win them too. That'd be an amazing season. I'm going to throw this back to you. Isn't this not actually the perfect time? We've not beaten a single team in the top 5 this season. We need to change something that we've been doing in the past. I'm going to say, I actually think just, you know what? It's not worked playing Walker. It's not worked playing Akanji. Throw Rico in there, tell him to invert, and then just go for it. Because you have to win that game. So that's what I'm going to say to you. Well, what's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts. I get where you're coming from. I still think he's going to come across. I'll get called a Rico hater and all the rest of it, and I certainly don't. You're in a position. I see what you're saying about trying something new, but it's not like none of this has worked before. I would still, if Stones is fit and Akanji is able to play right back, I would play Akanji right back. If Stones isn't, then fair enough, Rico. But I'd still stand by that Rico, of the current crop of the squad, is one of the weaker, less experienced players. If we're in October, November time, give him a run, and if it clicks, great, continue. In my view, I don't think it's the right time now to throw him in. But I completely get your point. It's absolutely valid.
I would definitely throw him in, Tone. I hear what you're saying about inexperience, but like, I'm not being funny, man. The teams that have been playing these top 5 games have been experienced, and none of them have managed to win. Maybe apart from Doku, who's obviously inexperienced. I'd throw him in.
If you had Stones, if Stones is fit, then who would your back four be?
Okay, so I don't think Stones is going to be fit for Villa, but say he is fit, it would be a Kanji right back, probably. I still would go with that.
Right.
Because for me, the only person that can invert from centre back or from the defence is John Stones and Rico Lewis. Who can do it at a good level. Because Akanji's not. See, here's the problem with Akanji. Akanji can do it, but he's just not brave enough. That's why sometimes he does it and he looks okay. Because sometimes he'll do it and he's like, yeah, I'm going to be the man today. He'll step into midfield and he'll, like Champions League final, for example. Even though John Stones did it, he also stepped really far forward in that Champions League final. He was very, very good. But sometimes he just ain't got the minerals for it, man. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Maybe it's a high pressure game or whatever reason. Weather's not great. I don't know. He's just like, he don't fancy it and he's not brave enough. The only player that is brave enough, other than John Stones, is Rico Lewis. It is a gamble, of course, and you could play him then, it might not work, but I think we are at the point for gambling. Listen, guys, just quickly, I'm going to let Martin go because he's got a stream on Mancunian Way. So big up for coming on, Martin. I will send everyone over. Send me the link.
Yeah. Come and join the Happy Clappy stream.
Yeah, Martin's Happy Clappy stream.
No worries. I'll say one thing. I do think Alvarez will play Wednesday. I think Alvarez will come in on Wednesday.
That's a whole new discussion. We ain't got time for that.
Yeah. Take care, cheers, George. Cheers, Tom.
Take care, Martin.
Cheers.
Bye, mate.
Right, lads, a couple of things I want to speak about before we wrap up. I won't keep you too long. Big up to CB, first of all. Says, this is why Paqueta is a must or Wirtz. Well, in an ideal world for me, both. Because I'm saying Paqueta is going to replace Bernardo Silva. And I personally said, I've said this isn't reactionary, by the way. I've said this for a good year. I think we need to sign the Kevin De Bruyne replacement the year before Kevin De Bruyne leaves. I don't think we should sign Kevin De Bruyne replacement the same summer that Kevin De Bruyne leaves. I think that would be highly, highly risky and also probably not quite fair on the player that you're buying because they're going to have to be bedded into the league. So
yeah,
I don't think you're going to be able to get Wirtz this summer, though. I don't think he's going to leave. Fraud Dada says, how much % you give to City to win title? Realistically, we created this mess, giving away loose goals. We should own one win versus top 5 doesn't deserve the league, says Fraud Dada. I'd probably say, honestly, like 15%, 20%.
That's high. I'll go as low as 10. Like I think it's really gone. I think it is, especially obviously like we haven't played Villa yet, and if we win that, then maybe we'll all look at it a bit differently. But I just don't see both Arsenal and Liverpool dropping points and us not dropping any between now and the end of the season.
I think 20 and Liverpool 80. I don't. I know people can go, oh, Arsenal are ahead of you. Arsenal aren't winning the title. It'll be between Liverpool and City. Arsenal are not winning the league. I don't give
Arsenal
their fans
0% chance.
all right. 19 City, 1 Arsenal, 80 Liverpool. There you go.
Mar says Alvarez needs to start a few games as a number 9. Well, that's fair. This is what I wanted to speak on. Erling Haaland has obviously been cooked by quite a lot of people. Roy Keane's had his say. Here's my thing on Erling Haaland, right, before we wrap up. I don't really want to hear people speak about Haaland's touch or his dropping deep or his build-up play or his running down the channels. Because that's not why we bought Erling Haaland. And if we did buy Erling Haaland for those reasons, then we're stupid. Erling Haaland is an old school finisher. And he's one of the best finishers in world football. If you don't create him chances, he won't do anything. Sorry to break it to you. Wolves away. Didn't create him a single chance. Dropped a stinker. Why? Because we didn't create him a single chance. Arsenal away. Didn't create him a single chance. Today, hardly created him anything. If you don't create him chances, he's not going to do anything. Yeah? And go on, Joe.
How many chances has he missed this season, man? Like, we've created loads of chances for him, and he's done.
Okay, how many of those chances were actually in games that we didn't win, bro? Serious.
Oh, right, yeah. So in terms of I know if you're talking about games where we've not won, where people are then going, oh, it's Haaland, then yeah, absolutely, it's because realistically, those games we haven't created anything for him. But like the guy's shooting boots of. He's still like doing really well. Obviously, like he's not been bad. But like, no one can ever say that about Haaland because he's been ridiculous. But he has been, and this maybe comes back to the treble. This maybe comes back to the whole conversation about like expectations set by a treble-winning side and stuff like that. But if we're looking at this compared to last season, where obviously he broke like the goal-scoring records, and you can't do that every single year. But is he not like one of the most? I'm sure there was a stat not long ago. It might have been not long before the international break actually, where like the whole thing was that he was like this. He was like one of the bottom 10 like most wasteful players in the year this season. Like in terms of like shots, in terms of chances created, and chances not scored. Of all the players in the league who've taken a shot this season, and obviously this is kind of as a result of him having had so many. That's kind of, you are obviously going to be towards the bottom half anyway, unless you score all of them. But he's down there with like Darwin Núñez and like Dominic Calvert-Lewin and stuff like that. Like he has been this season not great. See, someone here said he's missed 26 big chances. Like, I don't know if that's. I can't check that now, but that's a lot of chances. That's a lot of chances to miss in a season. And I think the frustration can be that. If you're someone whose only job is to score goals, and obviously we're not talking about, I'm not really talking about today now because like we created, but actually no, we did create a chance for him and he decided not to try and shoot, which is a bit weird. But I think like if you look at
what chance was that?
It's the one where it sort of bounced to him like right in the 6-yard box. It sort of like it was a cross that had like missed everyone and then landed right at his foot, and he had like a second to sort of be on it and swing his foot at it, and he just did nothing and let the ball bounce past him. And I don't really know.
I think.
Yeah, it looked like he wasn't sure what to do, like whether to shoot or whether to do anything, to do something else, and he just in the end just did nothing, and it just like bounced right over the front of him. And you just look at that and just think Haaland last season is just leathering that, and it's probably going in. Like,
do you think he's fit, man? Because if you look at these stats here, yeah, look at this before his injury. Yeah, goals, assist, injured, right? Look at that record before his injury. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, right? Look at that.
Before you go on further here, like you're right, by the way. Like look at those. Any game where he doesn't score or assist, we've dropped points. Like which is mad. Maybe that says more about how we're becoming like really over reliant on him to score goals. But we've had this discussion before, I think. But yeah.
So look at that. Look at his run, and then he gets injured, and then look at it since he's come back. So my question to you is, I mean, it's obviously not terrible, but it's not great. Like, is he fit, or has something happened? Does he not trust his body? Have we changed since he got injured? How come he was bagging goals for fun here and getting assists, and then all of a sudden he's struggling? He's only scored in 4 Premier League games since he's come back from his injury at the end of January. What's going on?
I'd heard that he was still having a problem with his foot, and they're managing it. I think we mentioned it on the show a couple of weeks ago. I still think it's a thing that they're not going to fix until the summer. I think there is something going on with him. Just to say on today's game, 0% falls at the feet of Haaland. No fault of Haaland whatsoever. So 0%, the same as Arsenal's title chances. It is not Haaland's fault today. He's had a mixed season. He has missed chances, but he's still the top player. He starts every game. He'll start Villa. He'll probably start Palace. He's fit as a fiddle in terms of his, starting games. But I did hear he's still having a problem with his foot. So I think a few people have heard the same thing. I think Martin's heard the same. I think he might have been one of the ones who told me. So you can see that, and if that is right, then that is why. But he still starts every game, mate, in my view, and he's still brilliant. He'll probably go and score 2 or 3 in the week, and everyone's cool again.
This is so. If he has got a problem with his foot, why have we not just given him an extra month off and just let him fix it? Why are we play? If that is the case, why are we playing someone through a foot injury when it's clearly having a massive impact on his output?
If we give him, so let's have a look at the fixtures, right? So if we did give him some extra time off, so he would have missed Burnley, Brentford.
Say it's an extra month. So he misses from the 13th of January. So we take that to the 13th of.
So
he misses those 3. He misses Burnley, but obviously there's a cup game in there, I'm assuming, a couple of cup games, but Burnley, Brentford and Everton. And that's not, you know what I mean? They're not games you absolutely cannot live without Erling Haaland for. Obviously he scored the 2 against Everton, ironically, but it's, if he's not on the pitch, we're not looking at those games, given the form that we were in going into them, and sort of thinking, we need Haaland for these, otherwise we're really screwed. It's just a case of, if he's in a state where he is still carrying an injury, we hear this with a lot of players, don't we? We get to the end of a season and it suddenly just emerges that Jack Grealish has been playing with his calf fucked for for a month.
Year, wasn't it?
Foden playing with an injury for half the season. You know what I mean? Why do we De Bruyne playing with a damaged groin? Why do we do it? Why do we not just let players get to 100% where these injuries are not a problem anymore? And then and not have them suddenly end up in a position where their performances are dropping. I believe that De Bruyne's last couple of performances being below par is because he's been just rushed back into the squad, where he's come back from injury. He's not had. In fact, it's a miracle that he hit the ground running to begin with, because he's not had a pre-season of any description. So this is he's immediately just been thrown back into he had that first sort of 2 or 3 weeks, didn't he, where he played 1 game a week and had 1 game in, 1 game off. And now he's playing 3 games a week again. And it's no wonder his performance levels are dropping, because the guy's just come back from a groin injury. A hamstring injury. He's had groin troubles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're stretching, because it's kind of the nature of Pep having a small squad. And this doesn't really apply to Haaland necessarily, because obviously you only have 2 players in his position anyway. But when you have such a small squad, you end up having to sort of rush players back from injury, because the longer that player is out, the fewer that you end up just having to move players around and sort everything out. But in terms of Haaland, I think it's just so, if you're right and what you've heard is correct, that it is down to the fact that he's still carrying something on his foot, then why? Why are we doing it? We can see that through the goals and assist numbers, and maybe you can put some. And obviously, we can always look at how City have performed in these games, because even though we've been on this massive unbeaten run, the eye test shows that we are not playing well. But how much of that is just down to Haaland just not putting his chances away because he's still at that 5 or 10% off it? I don't know. It's just really weird. I don't like the idea of City playing someone through an injury if it is the case that he's got one.
No, but De Bruyne's the biggie as well, because he's definitely, not that he was bad today, but he's been playing through issues, and then he's not playing in the week. Pep said managing games. We seem to have many players we manage games. Ake is another one. He's just gone down today. And to be fair, a lot of people predicted that, not in a bad way. Same as Stones, England. We all said before the game, he's going to bloody get injured now because Southgate, the plonkers, played him twice in 4 days. Ake, 2 games for the Netherlands, I think, and then he's come straight in today. Loads of people were saying he's going to get injured today. And City are managing a lot of players at the moment. Grealish will now probably be the same because they'll be worried because he's come back twice and he's broken down. They will now manage him. He won't start both games this week. He may start one and come off after an hour, play half hour at Palace. And that's the problem. And this is what we were sort of leaning on earlier, is a part of this season's failings, and I know other teams have injuries, is we have been really unlucky with injuries, some longer term ones, missing some of our best and key players. And then they're coming back and they're having to be managed by playing every now and again. Bar Haaland, it seems. Yeah, it's just a bit of a nightmare situation, really, I think, for City. Hopefully they'll pick up.
Yeah. I think for me, the injuries are huge. Transfer window, wasn't really good. Now looking back, it was poor transfer window. But certainly we are in a position that we can still win the league. I think it's unlikely, to be honest with you, just because I just don't see us making a 4-point gap up, because that's what we're going to have to do with the goal difference in 9 games. But listen, we've still got a chance. Of course, we got to keep going. Champions League. Final question before we wrap up, boys. I'll come to you first, Joe. Do you think that I'm just trying to be slightly positive, and maybe it's copium. But if you think I'm chatting arse, then feel free to shoot me down. Do you feel like the way we're playing could work in the Champions League? Because whilst we're not creating, no. I'm just trying to think that maybe because we're a bit slower. Again, maybe it'll work in the Champions League. I don't know.
Maybe. I think if we set up like we did today against Madrid, for example, because Madrid are not got. We look more defensively solid, but that also, how much of that is down to the fact that Arsenal did pretty much fuck all going the other way. But we still look a lot better with this sort of 4 centre-back system that we've got. And I think if we do that against Madrid, who are not going to do the whole 11 men behind the ball thing, unless maybe they do at their place and they just hope that they can come back to our place and sort of just basically win it in a 90-minute game. Maybe that's the plan. But realistically, I think at the Bernabeu, they're probably going to want to attack us. If we set up like we did today against Madrid, there's every chance that we come away from there with a result, because they're not going to be playing 11 men behind the ball. It's going to be so much more. Attacking that is going to be so much more simple than it was today against Arsenal. But then also on the other hand, you have got Madrid's front 5 running at you the other way. So it's a bit of a difficult one to really call. But I think there's every chance in given the knockout nature of the Champions League. Madrid can't really sit back unless if they win in a straight shootout at their place in the first leg, we could be looking at a position where the second leg we are playing 11 men behind the ball. That's probably going to happen. But we've just got to hope that we come out of the Bernabeu either with a draw or with a lead, so that they have to come to the Etihad and actually go for us. And then in that position we can do something. We can do something with that, because I don't think the system was today's problem. I think the problem today was just Arsenal had absolutely no desire to play football. They just that's well within they're well within the rights to do it. But I just think that when you're playing against a team that literally just wants to not concede and doesn't really give much of a shit about anything else, it's very difficult to make any sort of system look great in that case. But yeah, given that Madrid will probably not do that, we could have a bit more luck in the Champions League.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, Tom?
Yeah, I think the Real Madrid game is key. On paper, if you get past Real Madrid, I would certainly fancy us as one of the favourites, which we would be anyway. But I'll be honest, that the defence, although they did very well today, if we are lining up with Guardiola, Diaz, Akanji and Rico at the back against that Real Madrid front 5, that is, oh God, that's a task and a half. Let's just say that. I think Real Madrid will be fired up because they got annihilated last season. And one team who's been there, done it, knows how is Real Madrid. It's going to be incredibly difficult. I'm always on try and lean on the positive and say, yeah, I fancy it. That is going to be mega tough. And the performance we had at home to Real Madrid was probably the best I've seen, one of the best I've ever seen from City. I mean, we were unbelievable. And I hope we do it again. I'm not expecting it again. I think it'll be very, very close. Extremely close over the two legs. And I think the fact we're home second leg could just tilt it our way.
I really hope we don't have to play against Arsenal over two legs after that, though. I can't be arsed with two more games like today.
Arsenal will get into semi-finals, mate. Bayern Munich are ass.
I know they're so bad. It's definitely going to. If we get through, it's Arsenal nailed on. And mate, having to play them twice more is going to be. Before we do finish, I just want to bring up the 1894 banner about the season tickets and the price increases.
1 second, let me bring it up on screen so people can see.
I'm sure everybody will have seen it by now, but just get it up anyway so we can all have a look at.
So this is the banner that Joe's talking about. Here we go.
So yeah, the 1894 group put this banner up, obviously about the season ticket increases and stuff like that, and how it should be, how it's ridiculous that the club's bringing in record profits and all this stuff like that, and is still deeming 11% price increases to still be absolutely required and stuff like that. And by all accounts, the banner was removed, and the club are apparently now saying that that's because it was draped over advertising boards. And nothing to do with the content, but I'm absolutely sure. Oh, here you go. The 1894 group saying that some people had credit. Yeah, so basically, there you go. We've been displaying banners there for 11 years, never any issues before. Presumably okay to do it in another part of the ground then at another time of our choosing. That's a lie. Is what the club were initially told the banner was going to be. City saw their arse, as simple as that. So yeah, basically the club once again are just handling this whole ticketing situation terribly, and rather than actually just front it and just accept. I think if this was a game against Luton at 3:00, nothing would have happened to that banner because nobody would have seen it. But I think City v Arsenal, probably one of the biggest game in the calendar, millions of people watching around the world. They do not want to risk a Sky camera getting that on, and people all around the world seeing some sort of dissent about the club. And I think that's all it is. And the club had better come up with I'm assuming what they've done there, what they've briefed about it being the advertising boards. That's their line, and they're going to stick to it. But just more proof that City truly do not give a shiny shite what fans think about the ticket prices, because they'll sell them anyway.
Bro, this is the thing, man. And listen, I was having this debate, over a decade ago on Blue Moon Forum, and I was saying it then, and people would just go, oh, it's only 20 quid increase, it's only 30 quid increase. I was like, oh, you morons. Yeah, if they do 30, 40 quid every single year, a decade will go by like that. You know what I mean? And before you know it, your season tickets increased. People's wages ain't going up that quick. So they didn't need to do it. Do you know what I mean? But people weren't asked. Listen, the cold hard truth is the club don't care, man. The club don't care about ticket your problems with the ticket prices. They don't care about any protests. And I'm sorry to say that, but that's the facts. They don't. Yeah. They do not care. They do not care. They want to increase revenue. That's what they're there to do. Their job is to increase revenue. Whether it's, and they might say, oh, it's to FFP, whatever. They want money in. It's the same reason why they want season ticket holder percentages down. Yeah, because they want to sell more match day tickets or flog it, to the sponsors who can then sell it as a package. Yeah, and it'll only probably get worse when Co-op Arena's opened, and they'll do a little weekend deal. Oh, come watch a City match, go and watch Beyonce, and then stay in our hotel. Yeah. They don't care, man. Which is like when I see it, I'm just like, fair dues to people that are still protesting, that's still raising it, because they're right to do so. But in my opinion, it's just going to fall on deaf ears, mate. They do not care.
You're shouting at a brick wall.
And again, not to cook these guys, but this City matters. Again, my personal opinion, it's more of a box ticking exercise. I don't think they have any sort of real say. You know what I mean, personally. So. Yeah, it's sad, and I back them doing it, but I think actually just keep doing the ban. I think the banners are probably the best thing to do because it's embarrassing for the club, and that's why they told you to take it down. But anything else is probably they're not going to do anything. But yeah, the club, man, it's poor that they do that. It's poor.
It is. I mean, the problem is they're a global team. They're probably the fastest growing club on the planet. They're making tons of money from worldwide support. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. And the season ticket holders, they can bin them off effectively because they want, like you've said before, the single sale hospitality, throw it all in type things with tunnel clubs and meet players or whatever it is, and all this other sort of stuff that they throw in, which a lot of worldwide fans will pay thousands and thousands of pounds to do. Club makes the money, and it's a horrible, hard, cold way of looking at it. But Manchester City, I'm afraid, is a business first and foremost. People say, "Oh, it's a football club." I said, it's a business. Same as Manchester United, the same as Arsenal, and the same as a lot of the clubs all down the pyramid, but especially the top clubs. And Manchester City are that now. I don't like it, but they are a business. And they make business decisions, like you said, to make the most money.
I agree. I think that you got to understand that they're not going to change their mind on ticket prices.
No.
So the best thing to do is just keep shaming them because they don't need to do it. Keep shaming them. Keep doing the banners and stuff like that because they won't like it because it's embarrassing and it calls them out. Anything else, I really don't think it's going to happen. But just to finish up, Tone, you mentioned United there. I seen an interview with Jim Radcliffe, and he said United fans come to the game. They don't really spend any money in and around the area because there's not really much there. They go to the game, they leave. What he wants to do, and this is where football's going, he wants to have like load of restaurants, loads of bars opening up all around the place. He wants to open up like shopping malls.
Yeah.
Because that's what he wants. But then again, that's not going to be directed to the season ticket holder, is it? You know what I mean? The guy who lives around the corner. So that's the way it is. It's sad.
Sounds suspiciously like a certain Etihad campus that's being built right at the moment. It's just that's just the way it is. Like every single food stall that's around that stadium is paying City a premium to be there. They're all getting money from everything that gets spent around the ground. You know, people come from America and drop 200 quid in the club store. Like that's what they want, and I think that's the way it is. And your local fan comes in, maybe buys a pie and a pint, and that's it, and that's all we do. So that's it. That we're the minority in this situation. Well, certainly the fans at the club very much feel they can do without, and that's kind of where these prices come from.
And I've seen a few people I know who went today who said they've never seen so many half and half scarves. Now, look, people want to wear them, buy them. That's their thing. It's their money. They do what they want. But that shows the growing thing of what people call the day tripper. And I've no problem with those fans. That's fine. But
I do.
You see where I'm going.
Yeah.
Joe does.
Joe.
Right, listen, lads, we'll wrap it up there. We covered a lot there. Big up Tone for coming on, man.
Thank you, mate. Thanks
hopefully, I'll speak to you tomorrow. Maybe we can get another show either before or after the Villa game.
I'm there, mate. Yeah.
Big up to Joe as well. Cheers for coming on, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Giving your time, man.
That's right. Love it.
I'll try and get you on again sometime this week or at the weekend. Hopefully, we're still in the title race. It's a big week. It is a big week, 100%. Guys, thanks very much for tuning in. Everyone who's I might do this again then because we've got 2,000 live viewers on Twitter alone today. So that's pretty crazy. So I might stream to Twitter again in the future. Over 400 still tuned in on More LB on YouTube. You know what I mean? So big up to you guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you're on YouTube, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back tomorrow. I've got Elbins at some point with Nobbins, probably in the evening. I'm on with Saeed, midday live, and then just some other random stuff as well. So, enjoy your Easter, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.
Right.